The man who stared through my window. I used to love living alone. My little studio apartment on the third floor of a quiet building was everything I needed. Peace, space, and a perfect view of the pine woods across the street. I'd sit with my tea by the window most evenings, watching the trees shift and whisper in the wind. It was calming, until it wasn't. It started on a Tuesday night, around 1:43 a.m. I remember the exact time because I had just woken up from a dreamless sleep, parched, and was stumbling to the kitchen when I saw him. A man, just standing there across the road in the shadows of the pines, facing my building, facing me. At first I told myself it was nothing, maybe a night jogger, maybe someone walking their dog. But he didn't move. He didn't pace or smoke or pull out a phone. He just stood, and I watched, breath shallow, as the seconds crawled into minutes. Then I blinked, and he was gone. I tried to laugh it off the next morning, blaming the late hour and my tired brain, but the unease lingered. The next night, I set an alarm for 1:40 a.m. I don't know why. I guess I needed to prove to myself that it had been nothing. Alarm buzzed. I sat up in bed, heart already thudding. I tiptoed to the window, keeping the lights off, parted the curtain. He was back. Closer this time, still across the street, but nearer the edge of the woods, as if he'd taken a few steps forward. The same pose, hands by his side, head tilted slightly, looking directly at my window. Something in me screamed to call the police, but I didn't. I couldn't even explain why. I just watched him, and then, blink, gone again. This pattern continued for 3 nights. Each time he was closer, never moving, just appearing, always at 1:43 a.m. On the 4th night, I woke up before the alarm. Something was off. The room was colder than usual, the kind of cold that crawled inside your bones. I crept to the window. He was standing on the sidewalk, right across from my building, right under the street lamp. And that's when I saw his face. Pale, too pale. His skin looked like damp paper. His eyes were all wrong. No whites, no iris, just black, endless pits, and a wide grin, like he knew I was watching. This time I stepped back, chest heaving. I reached for my phone. My fingers were shaking too badly to type in the emergency number. I didn't sleep that night. I called the police the next day. They sent a patrol car around, but found nothing. Probably just a weirdo, they said. Keep your windows closed. But that night, he wasn't across the street. He was standing in my parking lot, behind my car. His smile was wider. His eyes, I swear they glowed faintly. I felt it, an invisible thread pulling at my spine. I dropped the curtain and didn't look again. I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. I packed a bag and booked a hotel room downtown, 15th floor, city lights, no trees, no man. I felt safe for the first time in days. I slept through the night. But when I returned the next evening to grab more clothes, there was a note on my apartment door. No envelope, just tape there. Plain paper, 1 sentence, written in jagged, trembling handwriting. I like your eyes. I moved in with my sister that night. For weeks, I didn't sleep without nightmares. I've changed my number. I quit my job. I never returned to that apartment. But even now, sometimes, when I pass by reflective windows, I catch a glimpse of pale skin and black eyes behind me, smiling, waiting. I worked the night shift at a small hotel just off the highway. It's one of those aging places with yellow hallway lights, outdated floral carpets, and a faint smell of lemon-scented detergent that never quite hides the mold. People check in, people check out. Nothing exciting ever happens. Until the night someone checked into room 309. It was around 2:13 a.m. when the call came in. I remember the time clearly because I was half asleep at the front desk, chin resting on a half-empty cup of vending machine coffee, scrolling through videos. The phone rang with that old, piercing bell. A sound that doesn't just wake you up, it jolts your bones. "Front desk, good evening," I said. Static, then breathing. Not deep breathing, ragged, wet, like whoever was on the other end had something thick in their throat. "Hello?" I asked again. Finally a whisper. "Room 309, please." I glanced at the booking screen. Room 309 was empty. "I think you've dialed the wrong number," I said. "There's no guest in." "Come," they hissed. "Come see." Click. The line went dead. At first, I thought it was a prank. We get teenagers trying to spook staff sometimes, but something about the voice stuck in my head, the pain in it, or maybe the hunger. I checked the CCTV feed for the third floor. All the rooms were dark, except one. Room 309, the door was cracked open, just slightly, and something moved past it. I don't know what possessed me, but I took the elevator up. Every instinct screamed at me to ignore it. But my feet carried me to that hallway, that door. As I approached, I saw it was wider open now. The hallway was deathly quiet. The hum of the vending machine at the end of the corridor had stopped. Even the light above room 309 was flickering, like it couldn't decide if it wanted to be alive or dead. I knocked. No answer. But I heard it again, that same wet, ragged breathing, like someone was trying to hold it back from behind the door. I should have turned away. Instead, I pushed it open. The room was freezing, much colder than the hallway, and it was dark. Not regular dark, but that thick, suffocating kind that eats light. I flicked the switch, but nothing happened. My phone flashlight barely worked. It glowed like a dying candle. The bed was there, but the sheets were soaked. Not just damp, soaked. A puddle spread across the floor, thick and black, like ink or old blood. Then I heard the sound. Click, 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 from the bathroom, like nails on tile. "Hello?" I called out, instantly regretting it. Something crawled out. Not walked, crawled. First I saw the hands, thin, almost skeletal, with fingers too long and bent the wrong way. Then came the face, pale, mouth slack, no eyes, just sunken holes that wept a thick, dark fluid. It was dragging itself across the floor toward me, its back arched and cracked with every twitch. I ran down the hallway, into the elevator. I pressed the ground floor button over and over, breathing like I was drowning. When the doors finally opened, I sprinted to the front desk, slammed the office door shut, and watched the security feed. Room 309 was closed again. Lights normal. No figure. I stared at the feed for the next hour, shaking, trying to calm my racing heart. Around 4 a.m., I checked the system again. Something was there. Under bookings, room 309 was now occupied. Guest name, Evelyn, checked in, 1963, no checkout. My heart sank. Our hotel was built in 1971. I went to the manager the next morning, told him everything, showed him the footage. He watched quietly. Then he turned to me and said, "Room 309 was sealed for a reason." "What reason?" I asked. He hesitated. "Years ago, a woman named Evelyn stayed in that room. Honeymoon night. Her husband went out for smokes, never came back. She waited. Days passed. Then one night she locked herself in the bathroom and used the razor on herself." He paused. "They say the body was found crawling, like she was trying to escape, but she had no eyes, no tongue, just drag marks, no footsteps. I don't work night shifts anymore. I refused. But sometimes I check the booking system out of habit. And sometimes, only at night, I see room 309 occupied, just for a moment. Then it disappears. But the whisper never leaves my mind. Come see." My brother died when we were 8 years old. A freak accident, they said. He was playing in the crawl space beneath our old house, chasing after a kitten we weren't even allowed to have. The floor gave way. He fell through the boards and landed on a rusted pipe that went straight through his chest. I saw it happen. He looked at me, wide eyes, mouth open, but no scream came out, just a horrible gargle. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I remember the way the blood soaked through the wood like spilled ink on paper. They pulled his body out hours later. I never went near that crawl space again. We moved out a few months after that. But trauma doesn't pack up when you leave. It follows. And for years, I thought the nightmares were just that, nightmares. Until I moved back. It was stupid, I know. My parents had passed, and the house was all that was left. It was old, yes, but beautiful in that creaky, haunted kind of way. and for a while it was peaceful, until I started hearing his voice. It started with whispers at night, soft, almost like the house was breathing. Then one night I was brushing my teeth when I heard it. "Danny." I froze, toothbrush still in my mouth. I slowly turned toward the hallway. "Danny, come play with me." It wasn't just a whisper, it was his voice, my twin brothers, still young, still 8. I ran into the hall, heart hammering. Nothing, but something scratched inside the wall, faint, scraping. I convinced myself it was a rat or the wind or my mind. But then came the laughter, playful, familiar, echoing from inside the walls, like he was walking just behind the plaster. I tried ignoring it until it got worse. One night I was asleep when something touched my face. Cold fingers, small, like a child's hand. I shot up, room empty. But I heard giggling from inside the wall behind my bed. I moved out of that room, slept on the couch. Didn't matter. The voice followed me. It always came from inside the walls. "Danny, you left me down there. You let me die." "No, I didn't," I whispered back once, before I could stop myself. The silence after that was suffocating, like the walls were listening. That night I dreamed of the crawl space, except it wasn't just a crawl space anymore. It was a hallway, endless, lined with wooden doors, and behind every door I could hear him, whispering, crying, scraping. When I woke up, my hands were full of dirt, wet dirt, and my feet were muddy. I hadn't left the house. I checked every lock, every window. Nothing was disturbed. But the trail of muddy footprints led from the kitchen door to the basement steps. And the basement door was wide open. I hadn't been down there in years. Something in me snapped. I had to end it. I grabbed a flashlight, crowbar, and duct tape. I marched down into the basement. The smell hit me first. Damp wood, mildew, earth, and something rotten. The floor creaked beneath me, groaning with memory. I found the spot, the exact place where he fell. I started ripping up the floorboards. My hands bled, my arms ached, but I kept digging. And that's when I found it. A small wooden box, not a coffin, a toy chest. It had my brother's name burned into it, Michael. I opened it. Inside were his toys, a stuffed lion, a broken remote car, and a human tooth. Tiny, bloodstained, fresh. I dropped the box and turned, but the basement door slammed shut above me. I ran. Darkness swallowed my flashlight. Then the walls began to breathe, expanding, contracting like lungs. And from all sides, I heard him. "You left me, Danny, but I never left you." The walls rippled, and then I saw it. A face pressed through the wall, like the plaster had become skin. My brother's face, his mouth too wide, teeth cracked, hollow eyes. He smiled. I waited. I screamed. I don't remember how I got out. I woke up in the living room, lights on, door wide open. But something followed me out. Now, every time I walk by a wall, I hear scratching. When I sleep, I dream of hollow eyes watching me from behind cracks. And sometimes, just before I fall asleep, I feel his breath against my ear. "Come back and play, Danny." I'm not going back, but I know he's already here, inside the walls, waiting.